Head. Well, now back to our top story. The government announcement today that the controversial high-speed rail link between London and Birmingham will go ahead. Suzanne's in one of the villages in the path of the planned route. We can go back to her now. Suzanne.
Thanks very much, Nick. Well, to appreciate the scale and the impact of HS2, you really need to see it from the air. Our environment correspondent, David Gregory, used the BBC News helicopter to see for himself the final route and explore the impact it'll have on some parts of Warwickshire in particular.
We're starting out above Water Orton, where our team is broadcasting from, to the northeast of Birmingham. And our first stop is going to be the small village of Gilson, which is just a kilometre away to the east, just past the M42. Gilson is a small village that's no stranger to big infrastructure. It's already bordered on the west by the M6-M42 interchange, and now HS2 will slice through on the east. And because this is where the track actually splits and heads north and then into Birmingham, Gilson is going to end up on a little triangle of land bordered on all sides by road and rail. Well, we're now 20 kilometres further south along the route towards London, and we're at Stoneleigh in Warwickshire. And of course this is the site of the former Royal Show at the agricultural showground. In fact, HS2 passes to the northeast side of the showground itself. And of course it's also home now to the National Farmers Union, and they say of HS2, for them the key factor is the impact on the best and most versatile farmland and on food production in this country. But that said, for some NFU members, HS2 will be a windfall. So this is Ufton Wood in Warwickshire, and it's the scene of one of the major tweaks to the HS2 route here in the Midlands. Obviously further south in the Chilterns they're spending an extra £500 million on a new tunnel. But Ufton Wood is also getting a tunnel. What was going to be a cutting for HS2 through the wood will now be covered over. From up here you can see the Midlands is still a remarkably green and pleasant land, even with HS2. But for those who oppose the scheme, what's about to be lost from our landscape is just too important.
Birmingham Airport say it's good news that the high-speed rail link between London and Birmingham has been approved. And our transport correspondent Peter Plisner is there for us right now. So Peter, the airport has been one of HS2's greatest supporters, hasn't it?
Yes, Suzanne, and potentially it's a big winner. 38 minutes from central London on high-speed rail. And of course that's quicker than central London to Stansted Airport and about the same as to Gatwick. And of course with an extended runway there'll be more destinations from here as well. With me from the airport is John Morris. John, you have been a big supporter of high-speed rail. You must be pleased with the outcome today.
We're absolutely delighted. It's great news for the airport, but it's great news for the region and the people of the region. It's going to create jobs and start us on the road to recovery.
So how will the airport benefit from high-speed rail?
Well, quite clearly it's going to spread our reach so that we will eventually have most of the major cities in England within 50 minutes or so of this airport. We also see a role for the airport in taking some of the pressure out of the southeast as well. And we're very keen to do that well before HS2 comes along, but it's just another string in our bow.
Were you disappointed that the rail station is not coming closer to the airport because it's not as close as the existing station?
I think it's really important to recognise that it will be on the NEC Airport campus. My calculations suggest it'll be 2.5 to 3 minutes away from the terminal, and we've already talked to the government about potentially co-locating a terminal over there, so you'll enter the airport at the station.
Now, obviously you've got an extended runway into the future. Could potentially Birmingham become London's fourth airport, the one that they still want down in the southeast?
Well, look, we're part of the solution to the problem. These days we've all got to be prudent. We could take another 9 million customers tomorrow. We've got permission to go up to 27 million passengers. So we're part of that solution. And if it brings jobs to the Midlands, we make no apology to that. Let's go ahead and do it.
Many thanks. Well, I can tell you that HS2 obviously is still a long way off, and we don't actually need it until the mid-2020s when capacity on the West Coast main line, the current route to London, runs out. And there's a lot of work to do between now and then. It's certainly not going to happen overnight. Back to you, Nick.
Peter, thanks very much indeed. Let's find out how the weather's looking now. Here's Shefali.
Thank you very much, Nick. Well, another day spent soaking up the unseasonably mild temperatures, but you'll find by the end of the week these rather comforting yellow colours are going to drain from our shores and be replaced by the harsh blues, which can only mean one thing. Yes, it is going to become colder by Friday onwards, and we'll see a return of the night frost and possibly some fog and maybe, just maybe, some snow for the hills on Sunday, but there's a big question mark over that for the time being. As far as tonight goes, however, it bears resemblances to last night, and then we're going to start to see cloud drifting in from the west west, and it is quite a cloudy picture with perhaps a few spots of rain to the northwest, but an essentially dry picture. And it's slightly milder than last night. Temperatures in towns and cities dipping to lows of around 7 to 9 Celsius. So not cold tomorrow morning by any means, but it will be a dull, damp, dank start to the day in places. And if at all, like today, we'll start to see that cloud thinning and breaking during the afternoon to produce some brightness or perhaps some sunnier spells. But because of the good head start with those temperatures, we'll see final values ending up at about 11 to 12 Celsius. So again, way above average for the time of year with those light to moderate southwesterly winds. Now, it's through Thursday into Friday that we see a shift in the winds from southwesterlies to, you see, northwesterlies, and that's going to drag those temperatures down on Thursday night. So for Thursday itself, we're still looking at temperatures into double figures, but it's a cloudy day with some light patchy rain spreading southwards. But it's Thursday night that the sky is clear. We see frost lows of 2 Celsius, and you can see those temperatures more than halve on Friday, but a lovely sunny day.
Shefali, thank you. Well, there's only one main story tonight, nationally and here in the Midlands, the fact that the government has approved the High-Speed 2 rail link. And Suzanne's been in Waterorton, Warwickshire this evening, one of the villages which will be directly affected by the new railway line. Suzanne.
Nick, a very emotional day here. HS2 is incredibly controversial, whether you think it's a good thing or a bad thing, like the people living here. One thing's for sure, it's not going to be speedily built. Work's not expected to start before 2018, and campaigners we've spoken to say they'll act now to stop it. From Nick and the team in the studio and everyone here, very good night to you. Bye-bye.